Hello Blade Riders, welcome to another episode of Dread Skates. And like it says up there on the tin, today we're going to be taking a look at the Veymax Cejour. Now, you might be asking yourself, or honestly, you're probably really not asking this, Dread, why are you taking another look at a budget board? Well, it goes something like this. You're looking around on Google, Amazon, eBay, whatever. You come across a listing for a board from a brand you've never heard from before. 0 reviews at a price that's way too good to be true for the specs. And then the intrusive thoughts start. Oh my god, I totally totes shouldn't. But what if I did? Nah, I'm not gonna. Okay, I lied. I'm gonna. Click, bye. So maybe you shouldn't have done it, but you just done did, and so how screwed are you really now that this board is shipped? Well, in the case of the Cejour, not really. We're gonna get more into that in the video. So stay tuned and let's get this board out on the road, and then I can give you my initial impressions and my overall thoughts on the Cejour. Alright, and we're back. Real quick, I just wanted to give a shout out to Veymax for sending this board over. They've been super supportive and communicative on social media when I've had any questions or feedback. And as always with these videos, my final thoughts and opinions are my own. Alright, let's get into it. Kicking things off, the Cejour's deck length is 38 inches and about 9.5 inches wide, and is a maple fiberglass composite. Interestingly enough, the deck is not what I would call super flexible. It's actually a fairly low flex board, and it's a bit wider than most boards at 9.8 inches, as opposed to the usual 9.5 inches. The deck also features a subtle but functional concave, which I found to be fairly comfortable while riding and carving, but more on that in a bit. It's also nice to see the return of the hand grip, a feature that seems to be relegated to the budget and commuter board category. But I can't understate how much I appreciate having a dedicated carry handle built into the board, especially for daily commuting. Additionally, Veymax includes bash guards standard with all their boards in the range. The Cejour comes in 2 distinct battery flavors, a 12S2P standard range option and a 10S2P extended range package, with the standard range pack being comprised of EVE 18650 cells and the extended range being comprised of Samsung cells. Veymax advertises 13 miles or 20 kilometers for the standard range option and 18 miles or 28 kilometers for the extended range pack. The base model Cejour retails for $589 and the extended range option for $649, but have been on sale previously for as low as $389 and $509 respectively. So definitely keep an eye out for any sales or promos. Veymax has opted to go with the LiveLock 8.0 ESC, which is one of the more recent models but does not include things like app integration. One of the main differences between Lingy and Hobbywing based controllers has always been the throttle, and the Cejour is no exception, having a noticeably more sensitive but ultimately torquey acceleration curve compared to Hobbywing, which admittedly is still taking me some getting used to. The board also comes bundled with the standard Lingy remote, which features 4 speed modes and allows you to adjust braking strength from the remote, and features USB-C charging as well as forward and reverse functions and an ODO. The Cejour features dual 550 watt hub motors and has an advertised top speed of 28 miles per hour or 45 kilometers per hour in the highest speed mode. During my testing, riding in the high mode, I was routinely hitting about 20 to 22 miles per hour. On that note, Veymax also claims the board can handle a 30% grade, though during my testing it did struggle a bit with some of the more moderate ramps and inclines on my commute, but did ultimately complete those climbs. The overall build quality and final finish on the Cejour is fairly decent. The trucks and hardware feel solid, and the ESC and battery enclosure feel particularly premium and feature additional weather sealing and gaskets. The design also features fairly tasteful and minimal branding, which is always a big plus for boards at this price point. And hey, if you want to check out the full disassembly and breakdown of this board, you can check that video out on my Instagram, which I'll have linked below. The Cejour rides on 90mm urethane wheels with an 83A durometer. During my testing, these felt decently grippy, if not a little bumpy on rougher patches due to the thinner sleeves on the rear hubs. It would be nice to see a non-donut 97 to 100mm option here as stock for a more comfortable ride, in my own opinion. Also included are a pair of optional rear safety lights, which is a nice add-in for new or first-time riders. Surprisingly, these were also USB-C, which is a huge plus in my book. However, it was a bit of a hassle to mount them using the included tools, and did require me to partially remove the rear axle hanger before getting them properly mounted. Once they were mounted, they were perfectly fine and didn't feel like they would rattle off or shake themselves apart, so kudos to Veymax there. Lastly, the Cejour comes standard with an admittedly premium looking 1.7 amp charger, which should top off the board in 4 to 5 hours. It would be nice to see a 3 amp charger here for the 12S model, as the 1.7 is a bit slow for that larger pack. However, I did also like that they opted for the more secure 3-prong plug type as opposed to the barrel jack style connector for the charger. This style plug significantly reduces wear and tear on the charge port over time, so it's nice to see it on a board at this price point. Hey, real quick though, my studies have shown that over 1000% of my viewership is unsubscribed. If you want to help out the channel and you want to see more content like this, think about subscribing and turning on notifications down there to stay up to date with all the latest videos. It's kind of like sending thoughts and prayers, but it actually has real measurable metrics. All right, and with that unpleasantness out of the way, let's dip back into the review. During my testing, there are a few aspects of this board that I really enjoyed, starting off with the deck, or more specifically, how comfortable the deck is. Oddly enough, for a hub board, which longtime viewers of my channel will note, I am not a fan of hubs for this very reason, actually felt fairly comfortable for long-term riding. I was on this board for over an hour while shooting, and I didn't really notice any of the extended or extreme fatigue that I usually get riding these more boosted style longboard decks. Not sure why exactly that is. Might be because it has a slightly wider deck, but I can only speculate. Portability is solid. Veymax has positioned the Cejour as a good last mile / commuter board, and the overall weight and included carry handle deliver on that premise. I had no trouble carrying the board around for long stretches or while running errands, so top marks for convenience. The overall ride feel of this board is fairly good, if not a little on the stiff side. The low flex and stiffer bushings make this a more linear experience when it comes to riding and carving, but overall stable, which again, for newer or first-time riders is going to be a big plus. However, it is worth noting that I personally do plan to swap out the stock bushings long-term for either something like loaded or riptide bushings to see how this board really handles with more premium hardware, since I prefer a slightly softer ride when turning and carving. So no board is perfect, some boards less perfect than others, and the Cejour is no exception. So let's go over some of the things that I think could use a little bit of improvement. Now, there's really only one big issue that I have with this board, and it's kind of been a long-running one with me. And for some people, it might not even be an issue, but that is their choice of ESC. It's been years since I've ridden a Lingyi-based board, and this is honestly kind of reminding me of why that is. The acceleration is not great, and transitioning to the higher speeds is honestly not very smooth. The trade-off here, though, is that unlike hobby wing-based controllers, Lingyi tends to give you access to all the power it has on tap, instead of capping you at a lower peak amperage. So if you want raw performance at a lower cost and are willing to deal with a bit of roughness on the throttle, this might not be a huge deal breaker for you. For me personally, though, it was a bit of a distraction from an otherwise solid ride experience. I'd also like to see a full 12-month warranty and 6 months parts and labor instead of the current 9-month and 3-month parts and labor warranty that they are currently offering. A full year warranty shows a commitment to the product and supporting their first-time customers. On the plus side though, Veymax does have US distribution, so sending your board back if it is under that warranty is much less of a hassle compared to similar brands at this price point. So should you get the Cejour? Well, as always, I can't really answer that for you, but hopefully this video gave you enough information to go out and make an informed decision on your own. Personally, I think the Cejour is a competent and competitive option for new riders looking to get into e-skate or looking for a decent daily commuter board that doesn't break the bank. If you want to get your own Cejour and support the channel, I'll have an affiliate link down in the description. That's going to do it for us here, so as always, until next time, stay safe out there, Blade Riders. Peace.